If you are tired of your passengers slamming the doors on your Tesla Model 3 or Y, or them leaving the door slightly open, resulting in this error message and alert when you're trying to drive, or if you are generally struggling with closing your doors at some point, you'll want to check this video out. What's going on, everyone? Today I'm going to be installing the soft door close accessory from Hansho in my 2018 Tesla Model 3. I'm going to show you a step-by-step detailed installation guide and also share my honest review after installing this product. This install guide should be applicable to all other Model 3s and Model Ys, but just keep in mind there might be a slight changes in the configuration of some of these parts. If you would like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider being a channel subscriber. We cover all kinds of Tesla videos in this channel, including a lot of detailed step-by-step guides for various accessories, as well as some very unique modifications. Here are a couple of tools you'll need for this installation. A T30 Torx bit for the door panel screws, a T25 Torx bit for latch screws, 13mm socket for the window screws, 10mm socket for the window regulator screws, 8mm socket for the inner door panel, a heat tool to loosen the blue Loctite from the screws, a pry tool, a small hook to remove the side trim, and plug. First, we will begin with removing the door panels. On the front doors, there are 3 Torx 30 screws we need to remove. The first one is located underneath the door release band, covered by the plastic trim that you can remove. Second one is right underneath the armrest next to the ambient lights. And the third screw is on the side of the door panel. You'll have to use a small hook to remove the red reflector to access this last screw. For the rear doors, there are only 2 screws. There is one underneath the door release band covered by the plastic trim and the one underneath the armrest. First, start by removing those door panel screws using a Torx 30 bit. Some of these might be very strong, so might need a drill to remove them. Use a pry tool to push up on the top door panel speaker, which apparently is called a tweeter. Then go ahead and unplug the speaker plug by simply pulling on it. Now take a pry tool to prop open the door panel. The easiest location that I have found is the bottom right corner. The door panels are quite strong and you will require some force. You might need to use multiple pry tools to prop open the panels and be able to insert your finger to remove the panel. The very top end of the panel is sitting on the weather stripping on the top, so you might need to push up on it to remove the panel. You will then need to remove the Puddle light connector by pushing on the little plastic tab in the middle and pulling it out. Doing so will raise the window a little bit. Don't be alarmed, this is normal. Then you can either keep working with the panel just hanging there or remove all the wiring for an easier, cleaner installation. I'm going to show you the slightly longer way, but I find this to be an easier way with lots of room to work with. Record a quick video of this assembly using your phone so you can refer it when we're putting everything back together. Start with removing the latch cable by simply pulling on the cable and twist slightly to remove the small ball connection. Then make your way around the door panel, removing all the clips. Some of these clips are like the Puddle light clip where you push in the middle tab and pull it out, and others are simply pull-out clips. You might need to use some force to remove those clips. The connections that are attached to the door panels can also be removed by simply pulling on them. The door panel will likely fall at the end, so have a towel or some kind of a foam underneath to prevent scratching. Next, we'll remove the window. This sounds very scary and I was honestly a little nervous, but this is not that bad. I will show you the entire assembly inside and there isn't a lot of parts. First, remove the black rubber cap. This is the largest cap, so easy to identify. You'll see a 13mm socket screw inside. Remove the black rubber cap on the other side as well and you will see that same screw. Before removing the screw, grab a heat tool and heat those screws from the side. This allows you to melt the blue Loctite they put on those screws. Grab a 13mm socket wrench and remove those screws. If you're using a standard wrench like I am, don't apply the torque on the bar end of the wrench. Just use the head and apply some force. Remove the weather stripping from the top and put it aside. We are ready to remove the window. You can simply pull up on the window and might have to wiggle a little to take it out. The screw goes through this hole in the middle and the other side has a screw thread. Now go ahead and disconnect all the plugs throughout the door panel. These plugs are all very similar where you pinch on the middle part and pull it out. Those ones mounted on the door panel can be removed by simply pulling them out. Next, grab an 8mm socket and remove 12 screws from all around the black center plate. You can use a drill to expedite this process. These are all same size screws, so you don't have to keep track of which one came from where. Just make sure to collect them and put them in a safe place. Next, you will need to remove these 5 screws from the very middle part. This is the part of the window motor and regulator assembly. Go ahead and disconnect all the wiring harness from the center plate by pulling them out. I recommend you do this prior to removing all the screws, unlike what I did here. It makes removing those clips easier. Finally, pull this center piece out and completely disconnect it from the rest of the assembly. Again, you can potentially do this install without removing that piece, but my method will allow you to have more space and easier to work with. This is the piece we are replacing. As you can see, it is quite big and we'll need to loosen the window regulator pull on the side to fit this latch part. This is the only reason you have to remove the glass for this install, to have more room. Now grab a 10mm socket and remove the glass window nut from the top. This nut might be pretty tight, so will require some force. Then move towards the bottom and remove the 10mm socket from the bottom of the regulator pole. This will allow you to remove the right regulator pole, allowing you a bigger space to remove the latch assembly. This is what the top of the regulator part looks like. Grab a Torx 25 bit and loosen these 3 screws from the side door panel. Those 3 screws are the only components holding that inner latch, so the latch might slide a little bit when you remove the last screw. Reach inside the door panel and take out the latch module. Don't forget there is also the wire plug that is connected to the latch. Grab a small hook and pull the top white part out. Then press on the white part down while pulling the connector out. If you're having a hard time removing this plug due to space, you can slide this latch cable from the bottom inward to remove the cable. You can just push this rubber gasket inside to be able to remove the latch wire. That will allow you to take the latch module further outside, giving you more room to remove that plug. Grab a new soft door close module and check the label to make sure you grab the correct one. Each side is different. Next, back these 3 screws out using a Torx 25 screwdriver. We'll need to put these screws back on, so don't mix them up with the screws we removed from the original latch. Insert the soft door close latch wire through the same hole where we removed the OEM latch cable. Insert the original connector and make sure it is secured in place. You'll hear a click when it goes in. Put the new latch in its place by sliding it towards the side door panel. Align the holes on the soft door module with the side door panel holes and start threading the screws that came with the kit. Take your time and make sure each of those 3 screws are threaded into their respective slots. Grab a Torx 25 screwdriver and further tighten those screws. I wouldn't use a drill here. That is basically the installation. Now we need to put everything back together. First, start with the window regulator assembly. Insert the top and bottom screws through those holes and start inserting the 10mm nuts. Make sure this assembly is tight and won't wobble. Before you install the center door panel assembly, I would recommend you put the glass window back on in case you drop those screws inside the door panel. I was a little nervous about putting the window back in its track as I didn't know if the glass would sit in its place or what if I accidentally let the glass fall. However, rest assured, there are 2 metal hooks that grab the glass and won't let it just slide down, even without those screws in the middle. You can see the hole from our side to ensure that the glass is sitting at its designated place, and you can start securing it by installing those 2 13mm screws. Go ahead and install those 2 screws and tighten them to make sure the window is not loose. Time to clean up the middle door panel. Insert the wires through this main plastic trim and align the trim in place. Make sure this clip passes through the front trim to further secure the regulator assembly to the outside trim. Go ahead and install the 5 8mm bolts that connect the window regulator assembly to the outside trim. Now install the rest of the 8mm bolts from all around the plastic trim that we removed earlier. Using a drill makes this process quick and easy. Take your time and make sure to install the bolts. Push the wire clips into the trim and secure all the wirings. Go ahead and connect all the connections we removed earlier. That includes the speaker connector, the motor connector, and the top 2 plugs. Install the top weather stripping into its place. Next, go ahead and connect all the door panel plugs we removed earlier. This is where you can refer to the video you took earlier to make sure you understand where all those plugs go and how the wires were routed. Once all the plugs are secure, go ahead and hang the door panel by the top weather stripping. Then align the plastic screws and their respective slots so that you can push the door panel into its place. Be really careful and take your time. Those plastic pins are very brittle, and if you push them and there isn't a hole for it to go, those pins will break. Do a quick check to make sure everything works great before you put the final screws to secure the door panel. Once verified it all works as expected, go ahead and put those screws back on. The installation is now complete. So do you absolutely need this accessory? Probably not, but it has some great benefits. First, the obvious benefit of prevention of slamming your door. So no longer your passengers have to slam your doors. You can tell them, you can softly close the door. So this is a great accessory for that purpose, that you can preserve your car a little longer by not violently slamming the door every single time. Second, it will ensure that your doors are closed. I have been in many situations where my parents get out of the car and they think that they closed the door, but in reality, they left the door prop open just a little bit, and when I'm trying to drive off, it gives me that alert that my doors are not fully closed. Or if I walk away with them and, let's say we go to the store, the door doesn't automatically lock, and then I get a notification later on saying that the rear passenger door or one of the doors have been left open. So this accessory also solves that problem, that even if they don't fully close the door, it will automatically close and latch the door for you. So there are occasions where the door doesn't fully close, and when you try to push it close when the door is, just slightly propped open, then Tesla freaks out. The windows start going up and down. The door doesn't latch at that point. You have to really fully open it and then slam it close. So this product actually solves that problem. Now you can leave the door prop open a little bit, and then the motor will automatically latch and the door will close. The installation wasn't too bad. Yes, it was kind of scary that we had to remove that glass door, take apart the entire door panel. But at the end of the day, it is a one-to-one installation. We didn't have to modify any parts. We didn't have to route any cables to the computer of the car. We didn't have to do any of that. It was a one-to-one swap, and we just had to replace that latch, and it connects and nothing more. No modification. We didn't have to build extra adapter to fit this. There was no invasive procedures to be able to install this. So I really like that. It's a very clean installation if you follow my video step by step. Also, you can continue to use your doors exactly like how you were using them before. There's no change at all. You can still slam the door. You can still use the door eject button to open the door, and your windows work perfectly. You can still use the emergency latch to open the door. So everything works exactly like before. Now you just don't have to slam the door. One thing I must let you know is that there is some noise that the door makes when you are trying to close it, and this is because the motor is trying to activate, and you'll hear the latch going off. So as soon as you close it, it will make that noise. So you will hear that. It's not too bad, and I don't mind it because of all the benefit that this product provides, but I thought I would let you know and make you aware that there is some noise when you're closing the door. For a limited time, you can get 25% off of this product using my discount code. All you have to do is put Shiva Tesla in the promo code field when you're checking out, and you can get the 4-door kit. So all 4 doors for $600 for a limited time. We have some really big Tesla accessories coming to our channel. I'm gonna be installing this big modification on the Tesla Model 3. So I think you are gonna really like those videos. I'm really excited to install those products soon. So stay tuned for all of those videos. Thank you very much for your continued support to my channel. I'll see you soon. Namaste.